Welcome back to Dungeon Command. We are playing the Tyranny of Goblins versus the Curse of Undeath. The Goblins currently have a morale of 5, which is not great, and the Undeath player has a morale of 9. And up first is the Undeath player, so let's go over to his area and begin. Okay, so first thing we do is untap any creatures, so that's all done for the Undeath. They've got 6 creatures on the board now, and then we take one order card for them, which you won't see, but they've got a pretty healthy stack. I think I've got 4 of them now. And next up, of course, is we're going to activate the creatures one at a time. And that will be what we do. So I'm just going to readjust the camera and we'll get to that. Alright, so first up in activation, let's just do the skeletal Tomb Guardian. And yes, I totally forgot about the ability of the Lich Necromancer, which means when you deploy a creature to the board, you can deploy him adjacent to the Lich Necromancer. So I forgot that, so I'm not going to retro and do it. However, this guy has a movement of 6. Actually, I'm not going to do him first. Let's move these ones up first. And they both have a movement of 6. The Hypnotic Spirit and the Skeletal Warrior. So we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll just move both of them here at the top of the stairs here. Now we'll move the Skeletal Tomb Guardian, and he goes 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of getting them all into position. So let me just rearrange a little bit again, and we'll get to, I'm sure, what will be battles. Okay, so the first one the Undeath player is going to activate is the Lancer, the Skeletal Lancer, and he's going to, he's not going to move, but he's just going to attack the Bugbear Berserker, and he does a melee attack of 20 damage. So is we have anything we can do to prevent it? And we do. We're actually going to play Patch Up. The Berserker Bugbear has a level 4 and he has a Constitution ability, so we can easily play this. And we'll look at the bottom text here. It says prevent 20 damage to this creature from one source. So we just don't take damage. So the Bugbear Berserker just shrugs it off. And that's going to tap the Skeletal Lancer. Next up, we're going to do the Vampire Stalker, and he's just going to move forward 1 space, so he'll be adjacent to the Bugbear Berserker. Oh, and I'm sorry, this immediate card, Patch Up is an immediate card, which means the Bugbear Berserker is tapped, so he will not be able to. I guess we cannot play any more cards unless they're minor on him. So the Vampire Stalker does 30 melee damage, and we have no way to prevent that. So our Bugbear Berserker, he needs to take 30 damage. He has 90 hit points. And up next, and that taps the Vampire Stalker, of course, the Lich Necromancer is going to move ahead. Probably shouldn't have. See how I want to do this. He gets to move 6 spaces. And yeah, I kind of messed this up. Oh, maybe 1. Well, he's just going to go 2 directly adjacent because I can't get a clear shot at him. But he does 20 melee damage. That's going to take the total melee damage of our Bugbear Berserker up to 50 of his 90. So did a bit of damage on him there. And that also taps the Lich Necromancer. And that is all the activations of all the Undeath creatures. So back to the Undeath area and do his end of turn. Alright, so end of turn, the first thing we're going to do is increase leadership from 22 to 23, because we're in deploy phase, and we have 6, 8, 13, 17, 21, so we can actually bring out a creature level 2 or less. And they're going to bring out their Gravehound, which is a level 2, has Dexterity Constitution, does 10 melee damage, no special abilities, and looks kind of like this. So they're going to bring this out, and I'm going to remember this time that we can bring this creature out adjacent to our Lich Necromancer. So I'll just readjust the camera and do that. Okay, so we're going to bring the Gravehound out right here adjacent to our Lich Necromancer, which puts it right there. Alright, back to the Undeath area to untap and collect any creature cards. Alright, so the very final thing we do is we're going to untap all of the tapped creatures for the Undeath player, so we'll do that. And now it is draw up to creature hand size. Well, he has a creature hand size of 3. He only has 1 creature card left, so he won't be doing that. And of course we know which creature that is. That's going to be the end of the Undeath player's turn. So let's go now over to the Goblins and see what they can do. Alright, so over at the Goblins, of course, first thing we do is we're going to draw 1 order card. And we draw Reckless Attack, level 1 Constitution. This creature takes 10 damage to make a melee attack that deals plus 30 damage. Ooh, I like that, the sound of that already. And then we untap our creatures, and the only one tapped is our 50 damage Bugbear Berserker. Alright, that takes care of that. Let's readjust the camera and get activating our 5 creatures for the Goblins. Okay, so the first creature we're going to activate for the Goblins is the Hobgoblin Soldier here. He has a movement of 6, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right here. And he is going to attack the Vampire Stalker. And he does 30 melee damage because he has 20 melee damage regularly, and he also has the Undaunted Surge card, which this creature's attacks deal plus 10 damage. So he's going to do 30 damage to the Vampire Stalker, perhaps, unless there's something the Vampire Stalker can do to prevent it. Alright. And he, in fact, has something. He's going to play the Scum. He's going to play Cloud of Bats. And he does not have level 5 or intelligence. However, he is a vampire, and a vampire affinity means because he's a vampire, he can use this card. It says any vampire creature can take this action. And it's an immediate, so it's going to tap it. It says prevent all damage to this creature from one source, then shift 6 squares. So he basically turns into a cloud of bats and gets to shift 6 squares. So he can go anywhere he wants, 6 squares away. So he's just going to go 1, 2, he'll go 3, 4, and back off over to that corner. Wow, that was not good. So that's our Hobgoblin Soldier's attack, which is fairly ineffective. Next up, I think I'm actually going to activate our Hobgoblin Sorcerer, and he has a movement of 6. So I'm just going to have him go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here. He's going to shoot directly at the Skeletal Lancer, and he has a ranged attack that deals 20 damage and a range of 10, so no problem there. Clear line of sight, doing 20 damage to the 90 damage out of 100 Skeletal Lancer. And now, can the Undeath prevent that one? Does not look like they have anything they can do, and that means that the Skeletal Lancer has been destroyed. It was a level 4 creature, which means the Undeath player is going to lose 4 morale. So he's going from 9 down to 5. So now we have a tie in morale at 5s. And that, of course, taps the Hobgoblin Sorcerer for his attack. Now, the special ability for the Skeletal Lancer is when he's destroyed, you can replace him with a skeleton. Basically, the mount gets destroyed, and the Undeath player is just going to replace him with this level 2 Skeletal Warrior, which can be in any one of the 4 squares, so we'll put him over here. Alright, so that will be that. We still have the Wolf, the Horned Devil, and the Bugbear Berserker. So let's activate our Wolf. He has a movement of 8. And I'm not quite sure how far he's going to get, but we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll just park him right there, getting ready to do something for next time. And next, I think we are going to, let's see, the Bugbear Berserker. What do we want to do with him? Actually, we're going to do the Horn Devil. He has a movement of 6. So he can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to here. And he has a reach of 2, and he has a clear line of sight over to our Lich Necromancer. And does he want to beat on him or not? I think he does. He has a 40 melee attack against the Lich Necromancer. And if he does damage to him, make a melee attack, the target is then tapped. So that's going to be our attack, doing 40 damage to the Lich Necromancer. Is there anything he can do? Well, the Lich Necromancer has the Mage Armor, which can tap himself to prevent 10. And that's about it. So he's going to be tapped, and he's going to take 30 damage. And that's 30 damage of a possible 80. So 50 more damage will get rid of the Lich Necromancer. And we're going to see if that's possible. So he's tapped. Lastly, now we have the Bugbear Berserker. And the Bugbear Berserker has the Scuttle ability, so he can move wherever he wants to. But he's just going to stay there, and he's going to take a swing at the Lich Necromancer. And on top of that swing, he is going to do something called Reckless Attack. He has a Constitution ability. He's level 4, so no problem there. It says this creature takes 10 damage to make a melee attack that deals plus 30 damage. So what that means is he's going to do 50 damage and take 10 damage himself. So he's up to 60 damage, but he deals 50 damage to the Lich Necromancer, who already has 30 and is tapped, and that is enough to destroy the Lich Necromancer. All right, he's a level 5, which means that the Undeath player loses 5 morale. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and guess what? That takes the Undeath player to 0 because of the loss of the Lich Necromancer, and that breaks the morale of the Undeath player, and the Goblin player wins, ending off with 5 morale. Okay, I'll just readjust the camera and we'll end off the series. Alright everyone, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing to my channel. That was Dungeon Command, the Tyranny of Goblins versus the Curse of Undeath, and I probably made some goof-ups here and there, lots of strategic and tactical errors, but just kind of wanted to give you an idea of how the game plays. Again, there are 5 total factions that you can get for the game. You can even play a 3-player game, 4-player game by putting the map tiles together from the different sets. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. It's a pretty quick skirmish game, obviously. All the miniatures are painted. Some are painted really well. Some are just okay. You can also use these, I guess, in any D&D campaign you're running. They're pretty cool looking miniatures. And there are also cards that go with the D&D adventure game series, the Legend of Drizzt and Wrath of Chardalon. So you can use all of the miniatures in those games as well. Okay, that's going to wrap up Dungeon Command. I wasn't sure the Goblins were going to win that. It looked like they were getting beaten up pretty badly, but they pulled it off, unless, of course, I made some rules errors, which is possible. But anyway, like I said, it's more of a how does the game play, how does it look, instead of a rules primer, everything correctly done, and you can never have to read the rule book after watching this playthrough. I would suggest reading the rule book. Again, thanks for watching. Join me in a week or so when I will begin another playthrough series. Again, thanks so much.